Quite often I get questions on Facebook from people who have gone from your average day ticket lake and moving up to a syndicate. They've come across a whole new load of problems that they haven't had to face before, and they need a bit of help. So I thought I'd put myself in that situation. I have actually fished this place a couple of times in the past, but literally a couple of times, never seriously. So now I'm going to put myself on here and have a little late autumn, early winter campaign. So over the next few months, you're going to be following my fishing on this place. So we're going to have a little wander around, look for some key looking areas. I'm going to take my marker rod as well, because I want to get a good idea of what sort of depths are out there. One of the main things when you're starting on a lake is to actually get to know the place. Have a good wander around with a rod, get to know what features, what depths there are, and in that way, whenever you come to the lake, if you see fish in that area, you can move on to them and fish effectively without having to whip the water to a foam with a plumbing rod. Got the aerators in the background there. Obviously, they're a fantastic feature to start with, even if they are a little bit noisy. First of all, I'd say the lake's probably 4 to 5 acres in size. It's your typical modern man-made carp lake. And what I mean by that, you know, is there's various features, islands, sort of divide up the lake well, offer you good places to present your baits, but also stop old matey from the far bank being able to lob one over to your spot too. As far as stock's concerned, you know, it's quite a good head of fish in here. They reckon there's 10 to 15 30s at the right time of year. So obviously it'd be nice to get in amongst a couple of those. As far as visible features are concerned, at this end of the lake, obviously there's lots of pads. Got the islands, the reeds off the pads. There's these little, tiny little pads off here. I'm not 100% sure what type of weed it is, but I know the carp love it. I've seen it on various lakes and they're always in amongst it. It's always a good place to present a bait. Obviously, we've also got the aerator there, pumping loads of oxygen into the water. That's a massive feature on its own, so the carp will definitely get drawn to that. Really good area, this one, because, you know, obviously got a nice bit of scope, lots of different places you can place rods. Right, I'm going to get the marker rod and have a little wander around and see what sort of spots we can find. Right, I've just had a little plumb around this side. Quite interesting actually, you know, it's very shallow up against the island, sort of 2.5, 3 foot, and then it gradually drops down. Obviously you've got the pads and main set of pads in between the two islands there as well. One thing with these types of features is everyone tries to fish tight and close to them. But what you find is where it gradually shelves off around them areas, any freebies that are getting put out there are just going to end up rolling down. Slightest bit of disturbance, a fish swimming past, they're just going to roll to the bottom. And what you find is on the bottom there, it tends to be a little bit softer as well. So you can just pull back down the slope and you hit that slightly softer stuff. And I think that it can be a big edge to be fishing them areas rather than the rock hard clear areas tight to the pads. And obviously it is a little bit shallower in them areas too. So on a lake like this, where you're looking at sort of where it seems like 5 foot, 6 foot deep maximum, then I'd rather be in them depths than 2 or 3. It looks as though there's going to be sort of 3 main areas, 1 on each bank. So we'll have a little wander around there and see what we've got on that side. Got a nice little back channel behind this island here. It's a sort of spot that you could imagine getting overlooked just because, you know, it is quite a short chuck to the island and it's not the sort of place you could sit up, right, you could flick one rod down here, but I can definitely imagine it being ignored, this area. Got 5 foot off of that bush there. That's another thing, nice overhang. There's not many sort of overhanging bushes on this lake that have got sort of 4 foot of water beneath them. So that is definitely going to be one of them sort of key areas, especially for the winter time. Another great tip, if you're starting on a new lake, check it out on Google Earth first. And by doing that, you can see exactly where the winds blow, where the sun goes, and you can see which of these, if there's any of these spots like this, I know for a fact that a northerly blows this way. So that is going to be completely sheltered from a really cold, bitter northerly wind. Sort of spot you can imagine quite a few tucking themselves up in amongst on one of them really rough, cold nights. So it's definitely going to be a spot that I'll flick a bit of bait in that. Quite like that area. Right, let's have a little look up here and see what we've got out in the middle. Well, this swim here sort of covers the main body of water on the far bank. Loads and loads of features out here. I've just had a good flick round. Obviously there's the pads in between the two islands. I'm pretty sure there's sort of a bar or a shallower area, that's for sure, that runs between them, and I'm pretty sure them pads grow on top of it, because you go tight to the pads and it's rock hard and shallower, and then you just pull off sort of 4 or 5 foot away from them, starts getting a little bit deeper, another 4 or 5 foot, and you're in 6 foot of water. So real good area, that one, I should imagine. I'm going to bait a line along them pads, sort of a rod length off them. That'll probably be an area for 2 rods, that one. The other one, just to the left of that line of bushes where the reeds start, again, a rod length back off of that. It drops down, it's a little bit softer as well. A lot of the lake seems very clear and firm, so I quite like fishing in the softer areas. It makes it a lot harder for the fish to suss everything out, and they've got to dig everything, dig in there a bit more. Just makes them that little bit more clumsy. So what I'm actually looking for here is to get 3 key areas on each bank with 3 spots in each. Obviously, if you've got an extra spot or 2 that you can flick a bit of bait into, all the better. But as long as you've got 3 good spots that you can turn up to the swim and flick them out there without too much aggro, then you're putting yourself in a good situation. Right, let's go and check out that last bank then. Right, so this is my final choice of area. So plenty of spots out here again. Between these 2 islands, it deepens off a bit, nice sort of 5, 6 foot. A little bit softer out there as well. Got a nice bit of weed out to the left, just where that moorhen is at the moment. As long as I keep a rod length away from that, it should be nice and clear. Good area to bait up in between the 2 islands, because obviously the fish are going to be patrolling through there. I'm liking this bank, to be honest with you. And obviously I've also got the option of down to the left here. I could have 2 rods that side of the island, 1 rod this side of the island, or vice versa. Always good to have lots of options. Right, as I said, I'm going to wander around and flick a few baits into the spots that I've found. Really is a massive edge, little bit of pre-baiting. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but you know that when you get there, they've already been visiting the spots. They've already been eating your food, so they're going to be coming along and troughing happily. And as I say, that is a big key to syndicate carp fishing. So I've got a couple of different types of bait here. We've got Grange, the new Grange, and Cell. Reason I've got 2 different types is just to give myself an option. I think some days, like us, we get bored of certain flavours, we want something different. If you're fishing with 2 different baits, you've got that option there all the time. The other thing is, I know that Cell has been used a fair amount on here anyway, so the old Grange might give me a little bit of an edge. But as the old Cell has proved, it certainly doesn't blow. If anything, it just gets better. So I don't think we're going to have any problems with that. So I'm literally just going to wander around, put sort of 40 to 50 baits on each area, and then scatter the odd ones here and there as well, just so the fish will find them wherever they go, really. They're just going to swim around looking for them in the end. Sometimes I like to, put in some smaller bits and bobs as well, like pellets, sweet corn. The trouble with this lake is it's absolutely rammed full of roach. So any of them smaller bits and bobs you're putting in there are just going to get mullered by them instantly. Good ways of clearing a spot if you want to, if it's a little bit choddy or there's a bit of weed there, and obviously you apply some pellets and some smaller bits of bobs, that'll get cleared and you've got yourself a nice little spot. But for in here, it's just going to be good old round boilies. I say round ones. Quite often when I bait up, I'll cut my baits in half, or some of them. So obviously, if you've got an 18mm boilie and you split that in half, there's twice the amount of work and effort that fish has got to get to eat them. Just keeps them troughing around that little bit longer. Right, I'm getting absolutely drenched here, so I'm going to wander around, flick some baits in quickly, and then I'm going to come back, repeat that in a few days, and then a few days after that, and then come down and do the first night. As I said, this is a little mini series, so if you join us next month, you'll be able to see how I got on. I'm definitely putting myself in the firing line here a bit, so fingers crossed it's all going to work out all right.